people who discover amazing things. So Marie Curie, Henry Ford for the car, Orville Wright, Alexander Graham Bell. And a cool fun fact is he's the only living person right now that has been awarded the Elliott Crescent Medal. So it's very prestigious. So he spent his next 40 years after leaving Duke working on, in the lab, something that would turn the SOD back on in your body. So that's what we have our hands on. This isn't a supplement, it is an activator. And what it does is it goes in, and I'll kind of get into that in a minute, but it goes into your body and makes your body work the way God created your body to work. And we believe, you know, that God is the master creator and has the perfect blueprint. And so if our bodies can work the way that He created them to work, that's the, you know, that's the best that we can have. So that's what this did. Also, the other thing that came out of that ABC airing video is all these universities reached out to Dr. McCord and said, we want to study this. That is very atypical of any supplement on the market. Very few supplements have actual research done on them. If you go to www.pubmed.gov, which is the government website where every peer-reviewed study from, you know, any research institute is, Protandim has 23 peer-reviewed scientific articles on them. From Harvard, Harvard did one on Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. LSU did one on how Protandim is effective at getting rid of melanoma, skin cancer, which is really, really neat. Vanderbilt has done one, Ohio State, Wall Street Journal. One of the biggest ones is the American Heart Association. Protandim was published in the Circulation Journal. And our cardiologist who's on our team, Dr. Gordon, his favorite phrase he says is, that was what turned his eye. He said he's been shown tons and tons and tons of things, but when he went to PubMed.gov and saw that the American Heart Association had published not the ingredients of Protandim, but actually the brand of Protandim, and did a study on it, he knew that this was legit. And he always says the American Heart Association don't promote snake oil, you know, and so he knew that that was different. And then it's in the book Chasing Life, and by Dr. Gupta, the New York Times, and he has about 10 pages in his book written on how it can extend your life. So we're really talking about, Protandim doesn't cure, treat, or mitigate diseases, but what we are talking about is preventing. It really is a preventative thing, but then we're seeing positive side effects from people who do have a disease process, because it is proven to reduce your oxidative stress in your body by an average of 40% in 30 days, and by 70% in 120 days. So that's why I always tell people, give us 3-4 months, give it 3-4 months before you know, you try to do anything, blood work or anything like that, because it takes a while. We call it kind of a heat-seeking missile. It goes into your body and helps at the core of what it is. Let me tell you a little bit about the company. I told you a little bit of it, but right now we're over a $200 million company. Have hit that in 4 years. That's a record in this world, which is good. But the strong financial foundation, we have an amazing corporate team that is just really focused on making this a generational company, one that just goes for generations and generations, and we're super excited about that. So let me tell you about NRF2 and what NRF2 is. NRF2 is really what Protandim is. It's an NRF2 activator. I'm going to spend most of the time on our foundation product, which is the Protandim that was in this article, and then we'll talk just real quickly about some of our other products. But NRF2 is a pathway in your body that turns on the DNA. It's kind of like a light switch. If you think about a panel of light switches, when your NRF2 is activated, it flips on or upregulates the good parts and downregulates the negative things. So one of the things that we know that the NRF2 pathway does is it clicks off the inflammation in your body. We have a patent that it's proven to reduce your C-reactive protein. And so anybody who takes Protandim, it will reduce your inflammation. So we also know that inflammation is a core key to a lot of diseases. And we see a lot of health benefits from people right away that are just feeling better. Ankles, knees, hips, stuff like that, things that they just kind of had some chronic pain that might be caused by inflammation. We're seeing something really quickly with that. So NRF2, it's a protein messenger that binds itself to the DNA. So we're talking at a very, very deep level inside your cell. And why is that important? So you've always heard about taking antioxidants. If you were like me, spent most of my college career looking at a cell level, like that's all I ever did was working in DNA and all that stuff, and I had never heard the term oxidative stress. For sure I'd heard free radicals and had heard antioxidants, but I didn't know that term oxidative stress. If you'll go to PubMed and put oxidative stress in, there are over now 170,000 research articles. I mean, that's unbelievable, and it's amazing to me that our medical community is not talking about this regularly. So our universities, they're always ahead of us, you know, they're studying it like crazy. So it's going to be rolling out into our medical community, but you know, our medical community is just sometimes a little bit slower on things. So we've always heard take vitamin C, take fish oils, take vitamin E. The bad thing about that is one antioxidant gets rid of one free radical. But the truth about that is it doesn't even really get rid of that one free radical, because try not to get too nerdy, but it donates an electron to get rid of that free radical, which actually causes another free radical. So taking those vitamin C's, they might have other health benefits, but as far as reducing the oxidative stress in your body, it is not effective at reducing oxidative stress. So again, what I told you is we have those antioxidants already in our body: catalase, glutathione, and superoxide dismutase, or SOD is what we call it. So God made our bodies great and perfect, and it's amazing. If we can turn those antioxidants back on, one of those enzymes reduces 1 million free radicals per second in our cells. So our body can handle the oxidative stress much better than we can by supplementing it. So that's the key of kind of why it's really, really important to activate that NRF2 pathway. So what is oxidative stress? People are like, what is that? This is a great example of it. Cut an apple, set it on the table, and what happens to it? It turns brown. Rusting of a car is another way to kind of think about it. You've heard of oxidizing iron, you know, out in your car. And what happens with that? Once rust gets on a car, it's really hard to get that turned back around. So what we want to do is keep our oxidative stress as low as we can, as early in our lives as we possibly can, because if we can prevent it, the earlier we get this stuff in our bodies, the better that it is. So another kind of example that I've used is if you think about activating your NRF2 pathway, if you cut apples up and put them in your kid's lunch and you put orange juice or pineapple juice or anything like that on it, what happens to those apples? They don't turn brown as quickly. So if you think about that orange juice or citrus juice as your own antioxidants, that's protecting that apple, protecting that cell from the effects of oxidative stress. So you know, if you leave an apple cut outside on the countertop, especially in this heat, it's going to dwindle and just shrivel up really quickly. And so we want to prevent that. So what causes oxidative stress? Everything in our environment. Stress, trauma, aging, infection. If you exercise too much, if you don't exercise enough, which cracks me up, smoking, alcohol, pesticides, inflammation, poor diet, when you're pumping gas, you're talking on your cell phone, we're eating things that have preservatives and pesticides and all that stuff in it. All of that stuff is causing oxidative stress. You can't get away from it. So what is the result of oxidative stress? Lots and lots and lots of disease. Oxidative stress is at a cellular level. So any part of your body that has a cell is affected by oxidative stress. So that's all of us. So skin, gastro, heart, kidney, joints. You talked about, Dr. Moss, fibromyalgia, lupus, all those autoimmune disorders, blood vessels, hypertension, macular degeneration in the eyes, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, autism, which is huge right now. We're not sure what's going on with autism, but it's just growing. We know that oxidative stress is linked to autism. We know that oxidative stress is linked to ADHD. MS is blown up in our community. Oxidative stress is connected to MS. So
Hey Jamie, how do we get that slide? Because when I look at that, I just think there's somebody in every box.
Everybody, yes,
I know
we can send
somebody
it to you.
just about every box. I
Yes.
need to tell about.
Yes, so, you know, and so you just think about it, it's a cellular level. So that's a great way to think about it. Any cell in your body, it's gonna be affected.